right, welcome back. Whitlock and Wiley, Eric Dickerson and Michael Vick are back. Let's return to Kansas City, where the Chiefs suffered another crushing playoff loss yesterday, with the Patriots holding KC's dynamic offense to their fewest yards all season. It was also another crushing loss for Andy Reid, who has been one of the NFL's top coaches for 2 decades, but is just 1-5 in conference championship games and lost his only Super Bowl appearance. Reid addressed the disappointment after the game.
We wanted to bring the Hunt Trophy home here, so I think all our players did, and all the coaches, and that's a tough thing. So when somebody gets in, the fact that they get to do it right here is real tough. So, but we're gonna get that something we got. So we just we'll bear down this offseason and make sure we get better.
I cannot call Andy Reid a bad coach because he's a very good coach. So was Dan Reeves. So was Marty Schottenheimer. So was Chuck Knox. There have been a lot of good coaches that couldn't win a Super Bowl. And I think that's where we're at with Andy Reid. He reminds me a lot of Dan Reeves. Excellent coach. Led 2 different franchises to the Super Bowl. But some sort of flaw there. And to me, with Andy Reid, it's he falls in love with the passing game. He's a poor clock manager. And in Kansas City, he virtually ignores his defense. He sits on the bench and coaches Patrick Mahomes while the defense plays. And the defense looks like a team that the head coach doesn't care that much about defense.
You're absolutely correct. So, therefore, it's not Andy Reid's fault. Here's the thing. Andy Reid is an amazing coach to me. 1-5 in conference championship games. And I remember when he was 1-4, we were sitting there all those times in Philadelphia saying, golly, if you get to do the receiver, they're going to do something. Right. Then they got a receiver, and he got hurt, but he still played with one leg in the Super Bowl. They almost won that. So we're here, and you look at Andy Reid, 1-5 in conference championships. If you give him a D coordinator, if you get, I like when people preface it, I don't like to get anybody fired. Yeah, I don't care. My words don't mean that much. Bob Sutton got to go. Because Bob Sutton football starts up front. You have a team that in standard pass rush has the most sacks in the NFL. In blitzing situations, most sacks in the NFL. They tied for the league lead. But you're 31st ranked? If it starts all up front and y'all get into the quarterback without blitzing and y'all still can't cover back there, don't tell me about the talent. Tell me about the scheme. Bob Sutton has to go right now. Give Andy Reid a D coordinator. The guy went out there in the first half, and they got bludgeoned. I mean, it's a slow death to be on the sidelines for that many minutes watching a team just drive. And then Andy Reid went back to the lab at halftime, like he did the first time they played the Patriots in the regular season, and came back out and nearly won that game. D Ford stays on side. They do win that game. So it's not Andy Reid. Give him a D coordinator. You'll see the championship.
In basketball, was it the Knicks and the Bulls? That was their kryptonite, wasn't it? They couldn't get past them, really. That was their big thing.
Knicks couldn't. Yeah,
the Knicks couldn't get past the Bulls. And it's the same thing with Andy Reid trying to get past Belichick. I mean, that's his kryptonite.
What was it in the NFC? Belichick was in the AFC.
What we talking about? We're talking about the AFC.
Don't do that right now.
Talking about the AFC right now.
Stop bringing up old stuff.
Stop bringing up old stuff.
Belichick got everybody.
He got everybody's kryptonite. Yeah. But we got some kryptonite killer for him, I'm telling you that. You feel bad for Andy. Andy Reid's a really good coach. Yes. Everybody likes Andy Reid. But Bob Sutton, like you say, he has to go. One thing that shocked me, and I asked you this question, before we came on. I asked Marshall Faulk, I say, in the old days, I say, didn't we take the ball if you won the coin flip? Now, did they take the ball? They deferred.
No, they deferred. They put their first unit on the field.
I'm like, this is a high-powered offense. And you put your offense out there and let's score some points. But instead, they put their bad defense out there and let them stay out there for, 8 minutes?
13%.
Andy Reid, one of the greatest offensive minds in the game, I think. A lot of these guys that you see coaching now and having productive offenses year in and year out came up under Andy. I think a Super Bowl is destined for him. And just like we talked about, it all comes down to how he handles the defense according to the situation. The players are not the issue. You still got D Ford, you got Justin Houston, you got Eric Berry. You add in some pieces, but the scheme has to change. I mean, that's where they struggled yesterday, and it was very difficult to watch because I was pulling for Andy. I thought this year was the year, and how good of a season Patrick Mahomes had, this would have just been icing on the cake. So some difficult decisions have to be made, and they have to be made often.
How about that? Not only
soon.
Great season by Patrick Mahomes, great game by Patrick Mahomes. You talk about him being in the first time in the AFC Conference Championship game, 117 quarterback rating. The dude's insane, and he's not only next, he's got now right now. He's going to win the MVP this year, hands down. And I want to talk to your point about complexion in terms of Andy Reid going to the sidelines, going to the bench, and just sitting there coaching up the offense and coaching up his quarterback. Sean McVay does the same thing. And you know what? He has a D coordinator that he trusts in that is a great D coordinator, Wade Phillips, that he can say, okay, true powers, delegation, you handle that. Andy Reid, find you the Wade Phillips for your organization so you can turn your back on your defense, quote unquote, and then go out there and just coach the offense like Sean McVay does.
He's been at it. Sean McVay's in his second season?
Yeah,
second season?
Again, crazy.
So, yeah, second season.
Super Bowl.
Andy Reid's got a 20-year track record here.
Yeah.
And he's very loyal to his assistant coaches. You never see the move he made on Alex Smith, he doesn't make with his assistant coaches. You know, Alex Smith, you're going to run out here and run around a quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is going to replace you next year. That was a cold-blooded decision. They went up in the draft and got Patrick Mahomes. I don't see that. Coaches, it's real easy to be, in my opinion, to be hard on the players, but the grown men, your peers that you work with, are you as hard on them? That's part of the job as the head coach. And Belichick has no problem doing that. I need to see it from Andy Reid.
I think this is what validates the change needs to be made. Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots come in and what they do to the Kansas City Chiefs. They play man covers. That's not what they do. That's not their makeup. But that was the scheme for the game. Bob, son, you look at the
same thing.
The New England Patriots offense, and you have to say, okay, let's change up the scheme. Let's try something different. We played them early in the season. This didn't work. You know, put in a different type of defense that may look different or confuse Tom. Make them look at something different. They didn't do that. They lined up and played their same scheme, and that's why they're in the position they in.
But Bob's sitting there like, shoot, man, this game plan worked.
We can get him? No.
First time we played him, we gave him 43. This time we gave him 37. And that was an overtime.
Everybody right now, all over the media is, oh, my God, Tony Romo, he called all the plays beforehand. And it's because the Chiefs' defense is so predictable that he could definitely, he's like, well, hell, New England's just going to do the same thing they did last game and the same thing what they did in the first quarter, they're going to do in the second, third, fourth quarter. It wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
The only people that found it hard, and we keep talking about, why didn't the Chiefs players recognize it? Why didn't the Chiefs coaches recognize it?
I picked up on that. Tony could have came out of the stands and threw for 300 yesterday.
Yes.
No understanding of the scheme.
All right, coming up, the Rams are headed to the Super Bowl. But will the controversy about how they got there follow them? We'll get into that.